ever wonder why your attempts to reconcile your adult children keep backfiring? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's going on and how to find peace no matter what they choose. Welcome to the Live Free, Love Life podcast, where we discuss how to create more freedom so we can love our lives no matter what we're going through. Hey there. Before we dive into today's coaching session, I want to share something powerful with you. You know what's amazing about coaching? You don't have to be the one in the hot seat to experience transformation. When I first discovered coaching, I was part of a huge membership program with thousands of members. I never even got the chance to be coached directly, but that didn't stop me from completely changing my life just by listening to other people's coaching sessions. In fact, coaching had such a profound impact on me that I signed up for coach certification before I was ever coached myself. Crazy, right? So as you listen today, I want you to put yourself in this client's shoes. Their specific situation might be different from yours, but I promise the underlying thoughts and feelings are universal. Notice what comes up for you. What thoughts do you relate to? What feelings resonate? What insights could you apply to your own life? Remember, transformation happens when we're willing to look at ourselves with curiosity and compassion. So let's dive in and let this coaching session be exactly what you need today. All right, what can I help you with today?
Well, I am the mom of a lot of kids, but at home right now, I have three all young adults, 18 to 23.
Okay.
And I know you just did a podcast on this, and I'm still struggling with being a mom to this age because they're at this age where I feel like they need support. And they're also adults. And so the issue we're having right now that's breaking my heart is that my oldest, who's 23 years old, and my youngest, who is 19, have always been very close. They're typical brothers. They have a love-hate relationship where they get mad at each other, but it usually blows over within an hour and they're off to get a Slurpee together or something. But something happened 6 weeks ago. A lot of deep feelings and resentments, I think, have been building up. My oldest has acted like a kind of a dad figure, I think, to my other kids since my husband died when he was 10 and the other two were 8 and 6. And the youngest got really tired of being parented by his brother. And there was just a huge explosion. And I was here for it. I tried to mediate. There was no stopping either one of them. There was a lot of going into each other's bedrooms and taking things back that were like, this is actually mine. I paid for it. I mean, there was like a lot of anger. And I tried to mediate in the moment, ultimately stepped out of the way because I was like, all right, they're having their moment, but they've always gotten past their moments in the past. And this was all right before Christmas. And I let it go for a couple of days. They were ignoring each other, acting like each other didn't exist. And I thought, surely this is going to blow over. I sat down with them on Christmas Eve and I tried to have the conversation just like to mediate. Like, I think everyone's having big feelings here. I was trying to use some of my coaching skills and I was absolutely shut down. They were not in the market for coaching. They did not want any mothering. They just wanted me to stay in my lane, which
Okay,
was
so
not.
tell me what about this is hard for you?
I am falling apart. It's been 6 weeks and
6 weeks is
there
what? Like a long time?
feels so long and I am scared. I have lots of catastrophe.
Mhm. Tell me, what's the catastrophe? What's going to happen?
Well, my stepdaughters got mad at me and my husband like 7 years ago or 5 years ago, I guess 5 years ago now, and they haven't spoken to us since. Like they won't be in our lives. And I have this like fear of estrangement and like I'm like, no, 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 we have to work this out because when people don't talk about things, relationships just go away forever. And
Right.
I have always just loved our family so much. And I feel like we don't have that. We can't all be in the same room together. And I'm scared that we'll never be that way again. And I always took for granted that my boys that would never happen with them because they've always been close. And now I'm truly scared.
Okay, so go
They'll never be
five
together
years,
again.
5 years down the road for me.
Mm.
And the worst case scenario has happened. Paint the picture. What does it look like?
My oldest is married, maybe my youngest is dating, and they refuse to come if the other's gonna be there to Christmas celebration or family
Mhm.
celebration. Um,
What's so terrible about that?
I think I've put so much meaning and value into having an intact family, especially after losing our dad. Like, I just want us all to be close because if we're close, then we're safe and we take care of each other and we're there for each other. We're the ones who understand. Like, I knew my kids would always have each other. And even if something ever happened to me, someday I won't be here anymore. And now I'm just heartbroken to think that they're going to go through their life maybe without each other.
Okay. And if they did,
Yeah.
what do you think would happen if they just didn't have a strong relationship anymore? Or any relationship?
I think I can imagine a world where they're probably fine with it, and I'm still very sad.
They were fine with it. Let's say they both find, like a best friend who fills in that brother role just fine,
Mhm.
is a really good fit. I mean, it does all the things, it fills all the buckets, takes care of all their needs, and they are both happy with it. Tell me why you would continue to hold on to the sadness.
Mm. I think it's probably just really deeply held beliefs that family is everything. Family is the most important, and this isn't how families act. Families forgive each other. Families.
I bet we could find a lot of evidence that that is not true.
In my own life, yeah.
Lots and lots of evidence of families that don't forgive each other.
Yeah.
If this is the path they take, now let's remember for a second, your brain is making this whole thing up, right? 6 weeks is actually not very long.
It's like an
This could
eternity.
totally blow over, just not in the timeline that you wanted or expected. So let's just, for a sec, let's remember it's all made up. But even if this is the path that they choose, and they choose friends who are like brothers, right? They create their own family. They're getting all of their needs met. Like, why would you continue to hold on to this?
Well, am I gonna have to have like two separate Christmases?
Let's say you do. So what?
Guess that's true.
I mean, I'm in a blended family. I do that all the time, right? Like, I don't have my kids for Thanksgiving. So what? We just have our own Thanksgiving on another day. My kids have 2 Thanksgivings. And then when they're gone, I might have another one without them. Who cares?
Yeah.
If you have to have 2 Thanksgivings or 2 Christmases, you get to celebrate twice as much. Why is this a problem?
I can see where that could be okay.
Tell me how it could be amazing.
Ooh. Um, well, I guess even already, I feel like they're each opening up. I feel like our relationship individually is being strengthened
Mhm.
because they've always been this kind of little peas in a pod,
Mhm.
which I love and would prefer. But I do appreciate that I'm getting more time to like get to know them and just independently of each other. And they're
And that could be true in the future too.
Yeah,
If they decide to stay on these paths, which they might, they're adults, they get to do whatever they want.
that really stinks, Mindy.
Okay, we don't have to like it. But what I'd recommend is if they're happy with it, that you choose to just be happy with it too, because you're just torturing yourself for no reason.
Yeah.
So if they choose to stay on these paths, which they may not, this could totally turn around at any time. But if they did, it could be awesome just in that you will really have tight relationships with each of them individually. right? Like when we go to my parents, for example, there's 5 kids and then their partners and then all the grandkids. Like you don't really get a ton of like one-on-one interaction with everybody. You might with like one person,
Yeah.
but you don't really feel like you connect with everyone while we're there because there's too many people.
And it's probably giving them the opportunity too to learn about themselves independently of each other. There's probably some of that that needed. Some of this is a good thing. Some of this really did need to happen. I think my oldest did need to let go of so much responsibility on his shoulders, and my youngest needed to know that he does get to make his own mistakes.
Mhm. And if they need a year, let's go with a year. If they need a year to figure all that out so that they can both be the best versions of themselves and they can live their best lives, why would we want to fight against that?
Hmm. I wouldn't.
What's stopping you from just trusting that it's going to work out in the best way for everyone, no matter what it looks like? What's the way of just trusting that?
I think there's another thought that comes up that's like, well, it's my job to fix this. Like, I'm the mom.
Yeah. Is it?
And then I'm like, on the other side of that is not anymore, and maybe never, but definitely as adults, I can't be like, if they were, 12 and 8 doing this, I might have said, okay, well, we're not going to put any play dates on the menu here for a little bit until you guys figure out, like, how to get along with each other. Like, I might have tried. That may not have worked either. I'm not saying that's good advice, but I might have been able to get away with that. And now I truly don't. It's not like I don't get to do that. They're adults and they get to do this their way.
What would it look like to love them as they figure out their own path?
It would be really seeing them for who they are and who they want to become, and see that this is probably more than like a dumb fight, and it's really something like one of those formational struggles like we kind of all have to go through to really know ourselves, like to
Mhm.
really individuate ourselves.
Well, especially if your oldest has been kind of in that more fatherly role, the natural progression of humans as we get into our teenage years, we start to pull away and become more independent so that we can leave the nest and go out and be successful adults. Like that is normal and how it's supposed to be, right? Totally appropriate, even though as parents, we don't love it. But if he's been playing that role, it makes sense that there would be even more of that. There's got to be a point at which your younger breaks away to have that independence so that he can be his own person.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. Like every parent who is having constant battles with their teenager, right, thinks this is going to last forever.
That's true.
And it almost never does. Almost never,
Yeah.
right? They get through that phase, they step into themselves, they learn who they are, and they come back around. Why wouldn't we just assume that's what's going to happen?
I've certainly always assumed that, and I still assume that with these kiddos. I am still in shock and don't even have an explanation for why my stepdaughters haven't come back around, because that is just to me a principle of life almost. Like, of course we pull away and then we come back. And it's also 100% out of my control. I mean, that's something that I have looked at from every angle, and I've done absolutely everything I can do. I have shown up in all the ways that I can possibly show up the way I want to.
And are you
And
okay?
without them in our life,
Yeah.
I mean, Yes and no. I mean, for the most part, yes. I mean, we've made a certain peace. I worry about my husband. I see that
Mhm.
it's harder on him, of course.
Yeah.
And I also see it as we have continued to show up the way that we want to show up. Like, so we're still, the family's still here, like, and still waiting, and the arms are still open.
And you can still love them as much as you
Yeah.
want, whether they
Yeah.
come around or not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Agree.
But so you're still alive.
Mhm.
We're still thriving for the most part. Now, not that this is what we want, but if one of your sons did the same thing, it wouldn't be any different. It's hard, right? It's like anytime we lose a loved one, let's talk about even to death. That's extremely difficult.
Right.
It's part of the human experience. But we always find a way to pick ourselves up and keep going. And we can still have a life full of joy and happiness and fulfillment, even though that person isn't there anymore. It doesn't mean we won't have moments where we feel grief, where we miss them, where we kind of wish they were around. But for the most part, I mean, that is part of the human experience. We all lose people.
Yeah.
And this wouldn't be to death, right? With your stepdaughter, it's not to death. In a way, you've lost them, but we grieve. We grieve the loss. We grieve the future we thought we were going to have with them. We grieve them not being at things when we want them there. But
Mhm.
for the most part, we're going to be okay. That's going to be true
It's
no
true.
matter what your boys do here.
That's true. And it's not worth setting myself up into absolute anxiety and grief over something that, when I don't know how it's going to turn out in the end, like you said, it could blow over. And if it doesn't, it's really going to be up to me how I show up, how I feel.
Well, and at that time, if we've been spending however long this is going to be working ourselves up into a frenzy, right? We're going to probably be damaging our relationship with both of them because we're going to try to control and fix and
Yep.
make them like do it the way we want them to. So we're going to destroy our relationship. And then it's actually going to end up being much worse than you're imagining now because you won't have a tight relationship with them.
That's true. And this is why I came to you with this, because I kept seeing myself like just thinking one more conversation. This time when I mediate, it'll be different. Like, let me just keep doing the same thing over and over. But all that's happening is they're getting more and more impatient with, like, we've told you that we don't want to do it this way. So all I'm doing, I'm not fixing their relationship. I'm just hurting mine
Yeah.
with them.
Let me tell you a little secret about fixing. I actually have a podcast coming out soon, and it will be out before this one.
Okay.
So anyone who's listening, you can go and check that out. It's already up. Fixing is actually a trauma response. It's
Mm.
something that we do to try to control our own anxiety. It has nothing to do with the people. Like we say as women, we always, we want to help everybody. And we put on this like noble badge of honor, like I'm just trying to help because I'm a nice person. It's not. It's not helping. It's us trying to control our own anxiety. So the secret here is work on your own anxiety without trying to fix or trying to help, because all that does is destroy your relationships. Humans, and especially adult humans, don't like to be forced into things. They want to make their own way. So if we keep trying, we're just going to destroy our relationships. And it's not going to make us feel better anyway. We've got to make ourselves feel better without trying to control them.
And I'm realizing, like, that anxiety, as soon as you named that, like, that is true. And it's the anxiety about, like, what does this say about me and my family and
What does it
how
say?
many
Tell
times,
me.
like, I mean, the fear is that I haven't done a good job of teaching them conflict resolution. Like, I failed as a mother. That's the line I love
Yeah.
to
So
come
if
back
they never
to.
talk to each other, it means I'm a failure as a mother and I can't have that because that feels horrible. I
Amen.
better go and fix this so that I don't have to feel that way.
Yep.
Okay. What else could it mean if they never talk to each other again?
that even with that they've been taught all the best ways to resolve things and talk about feelings, and they still are choosing a different way than I want them to.
It means
And
humans have agency. They get to
yeah.
pick. I could be the best mom ever, and they could still do this because they get to choose. Do you know any like amazing moms who have terrible children?
Actually, and I'm always the one seeing this to other moms, so why don't I say it to myself? Because it's so true. I know amazing moms where there's like one child who will never speak to the mom again because she was like the most abusive person ever, but the other kids are like, she's a great mom, and it's so confusing and it is like not really about facts when you're at that point. It's like it's about humans who choose and humans who choose to see things through their own lenses or do experience things through their own perspectives. It's not
Tell me what
like,
an awesome mom you are.
ah, well, I am pretty proud that even being widowed when they were 10, 8, and 6, that, I've got them all to adulthood. My oldest is a paramedic and he's saving people's lives, and I'm so proud of him. And my middle daughter is also choosing a life of service. She wants to work as a detective, and she's in college for doing pre law and criminal investigation. She's kind of interested in all of it. And she's doing great. And my youngest is getting ready to go to college in the fall, too. I mean, like, if you had asked me when my husband died if I was going to be able to get them all through the next year, let alone through all the years we have and actually launching into adulthood with careers in mind, I would have thought that's not possible. I would have argued. I would have been like, no, you don't understand. I'm way too screwed up and sad. And like, this was hard when I had a partner. I can't do this alone. And so I think I made a lot of choices to work on myself, to go to therapy, to get coaching, to like stay strong and be able to show up for them and give them every opportunity that I possibly could. And I've also, I'm really proud of myself as a mom that I've held true to my value that, like, I made a decision when they were born and, like I had them all baptized Catholic and everything. Like I did the thing. And then I made the decision that I would always support them on their own journeys to like, I would never force them to believe what I believe, that I would completely be open to whatever their journey was. And that has been such an exciting thing to be a part of and to see, I have kids who swear they're atheist, agnostic, a daughter who's agnostic but chose to go to a Catholic college, like, all the things. But what's amazing is just that feeling of like, I gave that to them. I know I chose that. And I said, I will never judge you. I will never force you. I want you to figure this out however you figure it out. And I'm really proud of that. Because I
Amazing.
see a lot of people struggle with that. And a lot of kids I know who are our friends who come over and feel like they're forced to go to church and all these things. And they're so miserable. And I feel like, who knows what's right or wrong. But I do always have that little moment of like, I'm proud of that choice. I'm happy with that choice that I gave that to my
Okay, so
kids.
let me take this amazing skill that you have developed and we're going to apply it to what we're going through now. Because here's what you said. I always wanted to let my kids believe whatever they want to believe. And that includes like beliefs about family, beliefs about spending time with your brother and what that relationship is going to look like. Right? It's not just
Yeah,
religious beliefs that applies to. Okay, it's all of them.
everything. It's
They
true.
get to choose to think whatever they want about family and family relationships and brothers and forgiveness and letting things go. Like they get to choose all of it. It's not just
So
religion.
true. And the way I have wanted to show up is without judgment and with unconditional love. Like just positive regard, I just like, here you go. I'm here for it, whatever it is. Another tattoo, that's awesome. Like,
So
the
tell me how you can
yeah,
apply that here to
here
help
it's that's
yourself.
what I'm realizing is like, I can just be like, okay, so you've decided that you don't want your brother near you right now. Tell me more. Like, what's the plan? Like
Yeah,
here, like,
I love
that's
you no
great.
matter what.
Yeah, I
This is
love you
your
both.
path to walk. Tell me how I can support you.
Yeah. Oh, I it's amazing how you don't see that when you're in it. Because it is like, I mean, because all of those beliefs even I hold about family and forgiveness, those are very tied into my personal religious beliefs. And if I'm really mean it, if I really mean that they have free will, free agency, then I mean about it all, including the things that rub all the way up against my deepest values.
They don't have to be their deepest values,
Exactly.
and we can love them anyway. And that might mean you take moments to go and grieve what you thought their lives were going to look like. All of us moms have to do that multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Like all through their growing up. This could just be another one where, like, oh, I thought they were going to be best friends right now. I was wrong, right? It was always going to be this way. The made up story is what needs to go. Like, go throw that in the trash can or in the fire, visualize burning it. Like, this is what was always going to be. I trust my kids to find their own path. I always have believed in this. They get to believe whatever they want about this. I don't need to hang on to it anymore.
I think I can do that.
And it's going to work out in the very best way it can work out for everybody. Even if it doesn't match that made up story. And when we notice that we're getting caught in it, we just go burn the story again. Like, oh, brain, you forgot. We threw that in the garbage. We don't believe that story anymore. This is how it was always going to go, and it's perfect. Even if I can't see it yet, I know the best thing is going to happen. They're figuring themselves out. This is exactly what they need. I can love and support them no matter what they choose. I've been practicing my whole life. I'm good at this.
It's true.
We just forgot. We thought this was different for a second, and we're like, oh, wait, it's not. It's the same.
It's the same. And I know how to do this, and I can do it.
Amazing. You got this, my friend.
Thank you, Mindy.
All right. See you later.
Thanks so much for watching today. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss an episode. And while you're still here, I've got something special for you. My Live Free Love Life membership now has a completely free level. You can start transforming your life right now without spending a dime. You'll get access to certain courses, content, and tools that will help you break free from whatever is holding you back and create a life you absolutely love. And when you're ready for even more support, you can easily upgrade to get access to our live coaching calls, as well as way more tools and content. There's honestly no reason not to join the free level today. Just click the link in the description below to get started. Until next time, live free, love life.